Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. It's 2 tickets to Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yep. Yep.
Thought we could go together.
Some of you might remember a very early Deadpool and Wolverine leak that we got that involved Magneto. And the story was absolutely crazy. It involved a universe in which Magneto ruled over the entire thing. Magneto finally got his way. He was in charge over everybody. The mutants ruled the humans, and even Professor Xavier and the X-Men were on his side. Basically, it was the ideal world for Magneto. And while we most likely won't get this in Deadpool and Wolverine, since there have been reshoots since then, and they are currently doing more reshoots now. Some of it, however, still could be true because we have heard that Sir Ian McKellen is returning, and since we know some of the original X-Men and mutants from the Fox X-Men franchise are returning in Deadpool and Wolverine, it would make sense that we would see Magneto pop back up. And while he might not rule an entire universe, he might rule a very specific location that comic fans are probably very familiar with, the Savage Land. And we now have 3 trailers for Deadpool and Wolverine, and some scenes in these trailers look like they might actually show us scenes from the Savage Land. And the big question is, who exactly are they going to meet in the Savage Land? Could it be Magneto? Could the Hulk be there like a bunch of people theorize? I think they actually could be searching specifically for Magneto and possibly even Professor X, but I believe Magneto more than Professor X to help them defeat Cassandra Nova. We also have to acknowledge a very specific scene from new footage that we got today for Deadpool and Wolverine, and some of you might not have seen this because it wasn't released in the trailer they released, but Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman themselves released this, and Marvel Studios then dropped it on their Marvel Entertainment YouTube channel, but separate from the trailer that we got.
Oh, wow. It's 2 tickets to Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yep. Yep.
Thought we could go together.
It's not necessarily new footage, but it is a new Scream by Ryan Reynolds, which is very different than what we saw and what we heard in the original scene that we got this for. But we can certainly say that this is definitely a more appropriate Scream for getting stabbed in the nuts by Wolverine claws. So in the new trailer that they released today, at the 53-second mark, we can see Deadpool and Wolverine in what seems to be kind of a different location than where they typically are in the Void. In the Void, we see a lot of scenes from all of the trailers and the footage that we've gotten so far of them basically in a wasteland. However, in this new scene, it doesn't seem to be so much of a wasteland, and it actually looks like they are moving more towards areas that have plants, shrubbery, and grass in the background you can kind of notice as well. Well, this actually could be a sign that they are headed towards the Savage Land, and this could actually be located inside of the Void as well, and could be where Magneto is, plus other X-Men as well. We've heard that Deadpool is going to get a team of a bunch of people to fight against Cassandra Nova, and we know that the X-Men are returning, some of them at least. The only question is, where are they? And if they're going to fight Cassandra Nova, they need to be in the Void, whether they're there already or Deadpool and Wolverine bring them there. And to go along with this footage that Deadpool and Wolverine could possibly be entering the Savage Land are some really big clues that we've gotten from 2 different scenes from each of the trailers that we got so far. In the first trailer at the 1:18 mark, we have a scene where it looks like Deadpool is kind of waking up after being knocked out unconscious, and he's seemingly waking up inside of a giant mouth. When he gets up, he even looks at it. We can see the giant teeth there, and we can see the teeth in the background showing us that it is indeed a mouth. And obviously it is super huge. So this could actually be the mouth, the teeth of a dinosaur, because notice how sharp the teeth are. This clearly is not a human mouth. Like, this can't be mistaken for Ant-Man's mouth because we've obviously seen him hollowed out. But it seems to be pretty clear that this is indeed the mouth of a dinosaur, which further implies that Deadpool and Wolverine will indeed be in the Savage Land. But to top it all off, we have yet another scene in the other trailer that was released. In the official full trailer at 2:06, where Deadpool is saying, "Let's effing go," in the background again next to Wolverine, we clearly see what seems to be more dinosaur teeth. And in the scene, we actually see Wolverine drinking whiskey, and we can see a lot of artifacts around that seem to be collected by people. And we know that Wolverine was taken out of his universe, and we know that Deadpool obviously is not from there as well. So whether this be in the Void or a separate universe, somebody is living there. So our question is, who? Well, in the official trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine, we see that Wolverine does go up against Cassandra Nova, and he pretty much is just no threat to her at all. Like, zero threat. She's an incredibly powerful psychic. She handles him like he's nothing. And if she handles Wolverine that way, it's safe to assume that she's going to handle Deadpool that way as well. So what I'm assuming happens here is when they get to the Void, they start fighting each other, and then Cassandra Nova's people come and they basically take Deadpool and Wolverine to Cassandra Nova. Since she already basically has an army, she'll probably offer them a chance to be a part of that army. But since their mission is probably going to be to kill her, I'm assuming they try to do that instead. And they fail. The story doesn't seem to be so cut and dry. Like, it seems like in the portal scene that we have, Cassandra Nova is making that portal for Deadpool and Wolverine to kind of get away. But it seems like Deadpool and Wolverine are going to go explore and try to find other people to gather with them to fight against her. This is where I believe we go to the Savage Land, where Magneto plus other mutants could be. Because in the comics, Magneto has a pretty big connection to the Savage Land. He even leads the Savage Land mutates. Now, the Savage Land in the comics is an oasis, essentially. And it's located in Antarctica, so it's a bit of an anomaly. But that could very well be the case in the Void as well. If it's located in the Void and most of it is a wasteland, then the Savage Land being an oasis would be an anomaly there as well. And that's why I believe this scene right here, the fact that we are seeing more green here, more shrubbery, grass in the background, this could mean that they're actually getting closer to the Savage Land. This combined with what is seemingly dinosaur teeth leads us to believe that they'll go there. Plus, we did hear a rumor at one point in time stating that they would indeed go to the Savage Land. So who would Deadpool and Wolverine be seeking? Well, they could be specifically seeking out Professor Xavier. This is, after all, his evil twin sister that they're dealing with. So naturally, they could think, well, in order to defeat her, let's get her brother, one of the most powerful mutants and psychics ever, Professor Charles Xavier. But there is kind of a catch with this. We've heard from several insiders that Cassandra Nova loves to kill variants of her brother, Professor X. Like, she's a super twisted and dark person, and she hates Professor Xavier. And this starts from the comics when they share the same womb, and Professor X in the womb realizes that she is evil and defeats her in the womb, believing her to be dead, but she comes back and basically all she seeks is revenge on Professor X. And she is the one who actually attacks Genosha in the comics, killing millions of mutants. So perhaps Professor X can't get it done if she's already killed many variants of him in the past. So instead of Professor X, perhaps they are seeking out Magneto, who could be ruling the Savage Lands like he does in the comics. And he might have an army of mutants there as well. And in fact, I think this could be where Cassandra Nova is sending Deadpool and Wolverine. Perhaps she is kind of striking a deal with them, which I think could lead into a theory that I've had about the TVA, and a lot of people have speculated as well, that Agent Paradox might not be that good. So I think they go up against Cassandra Nova, they lose, and she says, well, hey, how about you do me a favor and I'll explain to you what's really going on at the TVA. And perhaps that favor is them going to the Savage Land and defeating Magneto and all of the mutants that are there with him as well, because one could see how obviously that would be really hard to do, defeating all of them. That way, they get Magneto and all of the other mutants out of the way for Cassandra Nova, and she can truly rule the Void and perhaps even the multiverse. At the end of it all, I do think something is up with Agent Paradox. I don't think they'll really give us any hints towards this in the trailers. I think this is going to be a reveal in the movie, but we'll have to wait and see. We have heard a rumor that Deadpool is essentially going to kind of have a mutant army behind him to go up against Cassandra Nova and her army. Could he get this mutant army from the Savage Land? I really think that this could indeed be the case. But go ahead and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think Deadpool and Wolverine will end up in the Savage Land? And do you think they will find Magneto there? And if not him, and even if it is him, who else will they find there? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. And please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to help us get to 1 million subscribers. And if you subscribe and you leave a comment, you're entered in our giveaway for a chance to win an Xbox Series X or a PS5. We pick one winner at the end of each month. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.